Hey everybody, it's Psynema.com with another tutorial. This time I am going to have a specific episode geared towards film students currently enrolled in college, and it's going to be about what I wish I knew when I was in college, like 10, 15 years ago, and things I would do differently, and things, some people just might not tell you, such as your teachers, textbooks and whatnot. But anyway, let's get started. So for people in film school and college right now, you may think it's such a long shot to, get in with a big company, Hollywood studio, or even a corporate video studio. But actually, your best weapon to get into the film and video industry is actually right there in front of you. I am not saying this to be corny or sappy, but honestly, your best weapon to get a job is your classmates. Literally. By and far your best weapon. Network with everyone in your class, make sure you get along with everyone, help people out in your class whenever you get a chance. And honestly, I remember back there were a few groups of, pretentious people that maybe you don't necessarily would get along with. Film students can be kind of uptight. We all had that experience. So, if that's the case, or, maybe you're an introvert, you don't fit in, just go up to the class above you or to the class below you. If you're a junior and you tapped out all your friendly resources in your current class, just go up to the seniors or go up to the sophomores. And then the younger kids will obviously appreciate someone older, more advanced, helping them out. So you'll fit in right then and there. And as corny as that sounds, again, I reiterate, this is literally your best weapon to get into the film and video industry. So do not ignore your classmates. Know everyone you can as best you can, and likewise they will know you the best. And so when as pessimistic as the economy seems, there's probably a few dozen of you in your film school, spread out across multiple grade levels. So the odds are that at least a decent chunk of you will get a job, and will look out for their friends that they went to college with, and hopefully you will do the same for them. And this is from personal experience. I've seen a lot of small video companies that are pretty much entirely staffed by a single college because one person got in and then recommended people they went to school with. And I see that over and over and over again, that pattern. So, get to know people. Even if they're not in the film and video field, if they're an offshoot of film and video, if you have an animation department, a photography department, an acting department, know those people. And after graduation, you want to actively keep in touch with everyone just to see where everyone's at. You want to be proactive in your networking, get to know everyone while you're in college, so that way you're not one of those people who magically become someone's friend once you find out they get a high-end job and you're still looking. Doesn't work like that. So, just pretend, the real world, the real socializing world, just be as aggressive in that world as you are on social media, and you should be good, those people you just friended on Facebook and on Twitter that you never met and never said hi to in the hallway, actually say hi to them in the hallway. So, and when someone does get a job, if you're still friends with them, you've kept in touch, you don't have to wait for a boss or someone hiring to get back to you. That friend could just invite you into the studio, and then you get to meet the people that could potentially hire you. Wouldn't that be nice and easy? Yes, it would. And next, your college will make you stress out and do a resume and cover letter. It's important, but to be honest, we don't live in a 9-to-5 world, especially if you're going in an art school or a film school. It's pretty much based on your work, your projects, how good your work looks. That's what'll get you in. So, but your resume, you should, make sure it's neat and tidy, honest. Be honest. If you do not know the 20 pieces of software you listed down, they can see that. Every student does that. I kind of roll my eyes when I go through resumes and see that they know 20 pieces of software. And, people in my class embellished it. You're not fooling anyone. So just put, the 2 or 3 pieces of software you truly know down. I highly doubt at, such a young age, everyone knows every single program in the Adobe Creative Suite, and you are not expected to know all of them. So, just get your 2 to 3 best ones that you're actually hireable for. That'll stand out. Just emphasize that that 1 or 2 software programs instead of just listing as many as you can think of. One thing you can put on your resume that a lot of people do not put on is your equipment list. So if you have nice, professional level equipment, if you sprung money for Steadicams and whatnot, you can put that on there and just let them know you know how to use it, and that'll be a nice marketing point for you when you apply for a job. I would, however, say do not put your minimum wage job at CVS, Rite Aid, Starbucks. Do not put that on there. No one cares. And the next topic I want to talk about is internships. A lot of colleges require you to intern for a company, and I have a personal story that I want to hit home with because I really want to emphasize it's really better to be a small fish in a small pond and not a small fish in a big pond. And what I mean by that is a lot of people looking for internships try to find the biggest, the most well-known company they could find, intern there so it looks good on their resume. You know, it looks good to see they interned at NBC, ABC, a movie studio, rather than a small home business that's in someone's house, or, a small hole in the wall somewhere. But the thing is, the bigger the company, the less likely it is that they'll hire you, and it's less likely it is that you will actually be trusted to do something video or film related. They have pros that they know and trust, and there's a lot of money at stake with a big company, and they're less likely to give an internship big responsibility, whereas a small company pretty much has to because their resources are stretched thin. And, if you intern for a small company, it's just more likely that you will get actual video and film experience. And I have a personal story to illustrate that. When I was choosing where I was interning at when I went to college, way back when in 2003 at University of the Arts, I had 3 internship offers. One from a very big national TV studio called Banyan Productions. They make TV shows such as Trading Places, Ambush Makeover, Epicurious, TV shows that I watch. The second was from a medium-sized studio called OSBX. And the third internship offer I had was from a very small 3-person film studio around the corner from UArts called 914 Pictures. It was a very small studio. I think it was only like a 3 or 4 person team. But, being the, naive youngin' I was, and also because the teachers said you should go for the big name and get the big contacts, I went for Banyan Productions because they were a national TV studio, and the other 2 were just local corporate video productions that were very good, but just not nationally known like Banyan was. So I get excited. I'm thinking, oh wow, I get to work for a big TV studio. I actually watch your TV shows. Everyone in the nation has heard of them. And what I got to do with Banyan, I love the people I work with. They were very nice. I was intimidated at first. I was thinking, oh, it's going to be all these arrogant, very mean TV people. But no, everyone was perfectly friendly, perfectly nice. I got glowing reviews from them, people going out of the way to compliment me to University of the Arts and give me positive reviews, but I did not get to do pretty much a single thing involving video aside from one day of logging footage, which is really not that involved. What I had to do was I had to screen calls for a show called Ambush Makeover. People would call in. An Ambush Makeover is a show where you surprise a loved one with a surprise makeover because, they're overworked or they let themselves go. And so pretty much 95% of my internship was taking viewer calls trying to submit their story to get on Ambush Makeover. And it's pretty much, pointless. To put this into perspective, at OSBX and 914 Pictures, the 2 internships that I turned down, a buddy of mine that I was in my college class at the time got an internship at OSBX, the medium-sized company, and he was actually disappointed because he applied for an internship at Banyan and was kind of jealous and mad that he didn't get it. But as it turns out, he got an internship at OSBX. He was doing film stuff left and right. Kept on talking about how he's DPing stuff, shooting stuff, and that eventually got him a career as a cinematographer right out of college, and he's traveling the world up in New York City. Whole career was built out of that internship, which I turned down. Third studio that I turned down because, Banyan was such a big studio was called 914 Pictures. You may not have heard of them, but you may remember a nationally released independent documentary called School of Rock. They made that, and they were making it during the time that I was interning. Yeah, so I could have potentially helped out on a nationally released documentary that was in theaters, but I turned that down because of, Banyan Productions was such a big company. And so meanwhile, the two internships I turned down, 914 is making a nationally released documentary. My buddy is at OSBX, building a very well-rounded cinematography career, which I turned down that internship that he got. And I'm at Banyan listening to a bunch of rednecks call in asking if they can get their teenage daughters breast implants. A bunch of misogynist husbands saying that their wife got too fat, and pretty much calling 20 times in a row. And for the record, if you ever have to call into a TV station to get on a show, they heard you. All 45 times you called. Trust me. So, and to make matters even worse, after I got out of college, I wrote back the contacts I had at Banyan, seeing if they had any jobs. No one got back to me. They said, "Oh, we remember you. You were such a great person. We'll try and see if we can find you something." But never got a call back for a job. And within a year after I graduated college in 2005, 2006, Banyan pretty much moved. They pretty much shrunk in size and were pretty much non-existent for a while. So the big company turned into a very small company and moved away about 20 miles outside of Philadelphia. And they're pretty much a non-factor. And so, yeah, I turned, because of the attraction to a big name studio, I, in a sense, could have had what my friend did at OSBX. I could have, potentially had a job similar to that, or could have done the even smaller internship with a smaller company and potentially have worked on or helped out on a School of Rock, than a nationally theatrically released documentary. So, yeah, so never ever, your teachers may disagree with me, and I know some of mine did. Some of mine, were like, oh, go with the big company, go with the big names, get the big contacts at NBC, get the big contacts at, Warner Brothers, anything you can get your hands on. But because I did that route and I, had three options, I took the big one, Banyan. Did not get much film experience from my internship and turned down two smaller companies which provided way much better value. So do not, no matter how much you want to urge yourself or how much your teachers or your classmates say go for it, do not make the size or the prestige of the studio you're working for your only factor. There are people that get great internships at big companies and get to do good things. It is possible, but in all likelihood, you should aim for the internship that will give you the most experience. Because at the end of the day, there's no guarantee that internship will hire you after college, but if you get good film experience, if you actually get to work on films and not do telephone calls and paperwork, and even if they don't hire you, no one can take that experience away from you. So always make the company that can give you the most responsibility on a film shoot on a consistent basis. Make that your priority when choosing your internship. Do not get get stars in your eyes or get swayed or brainwashed by the name of a company. And I will go so far as to say, if you are in an internship where you are not doing anything, if you're doing paperwork, getting coffee, your teachers are going to yell at me maybe, but I would say just leave it and find another one. You'll thank yourself in 10 years, but you'll feel bad for quitting. And, turning down the two smaller studios, making that phone call saying, oh, I got an internship at Banyan, I have to reject your internship offer. That was so hard for me at, 21 years old, but because Because I knew at the time, you don't want to reject them now and, go back and give them their resume for a job later with the memory of you rejecting their internships later on. So that was so hard for me. It was like, but oh well. And again, that's no offense to Banny, and I really like the people working there. It was just not much going on there. So next topic I want to move on to is the demo reel. You want to show off your best work, and I just want to give everyone a few pointers that a lot of people miss. Keep it under 2 minutes. Even the best demo reels, I get bored at watching 2 minutes, and so does everyone else. Not to sound pessimistic, but that's just how it is. I see a lot of people, especially when I went to college, like, over 10 years ago, they'll put very fancy After Effects and animations in their video demo reel. They'll get like a Steadicam, get all these fancy gizmos, and then the rest of their footage will be poorly focused shots, poorly exposed shots, absolutely no audio to let employers know they can record audio. It's just a music video with some neat shots and some not so neat shots. And you really want to stress the foundation that you can be trusted to film something. You can be trusted to record audio consistently. So it doesn't matter if you got a pilot's license and got a $2,000 drone for your graduation gift or your birthday. It doesn't matter if you can do After Effects out the wazoo and do all these sorts of effects. If you do not have the foundation basics of camera work, if you cannot focus consistently, if you cannot expose properly consistency, if you have bumpy camera movement, if you have poor audio in your demo reel, that's a kiss of death. So it doesn't matter how fancy or high end the shots in your demo reel are. As soon as they see something that's out of focus, they're hitting the back button. As soon as they see something that's poorly exposed or a bump in the camera movement, they're hitting the back button on YouTube or however you send your demo reel. So you want to build trust. So keep your demo reel as clean as possible. Go for cleanliness. Make sure you do the video scopes on your demo reel. Some people blow through them early on for your demo reel. Learn how to use video scopes. Make sure nothing is oversaturated. A lot of people just entering will get obsessed with saturation, and some of my old work in college, I could tell it was blown out because it was so oversaturated. So use the scopes. Make sure all your footage is clean. That being said, I do not want to sound pessimistic. If you do actually know how to use a Steadicam, a drone, a Movi, a slider, crane, what have you, if you really are gifted at After Effects, by all means, put that in your demo reel, because that will sell you. If you're an After Effects wizard, that will sell you. If you if you are in fact a licensed pilot to do a drone aerial footage, that'll help sell you. So those are important things to put in a reel, but just know they will not save you if the rest of your reel is subpar. They want to know if you can record audio. Keep audio in mind. I suggest putting audio clips in your demo reel so that they know you can record audio properly, that you know how to edit audio properly, so you can fade the music down and back up properly as the line of dialogue begins and ends. A lot of demo reels are just music videos without any sound, just the music, and that is also the kiss of death in videography. No one wants to buy or pay for a video that's just flat out music. There is a stigma, and unfortunately it's true. Employers really don't care about narrative work. They kind of roll their eyes when they see your senior thesis, and that's because most video paying jobs are corporate work. So, if you did a documentary, that actually works fine because that's actually an extension of corporate video that goes hand in hand. If you're in college, just make sure you get to do as many documentary and corporate videos as you can for your class projects, so that way you can put them in your demo reel. I will say there is a little trick that you can do if you have a bunch of narrative work that looks beautiful. As long as your narrative work is beautifully well lit and shot, you can actually put that in your demo reel and do a little trick that I tried as well. So what you want to do is sometimes the narrative work you do goes well as B-roll for interviews for corporate video you may have done. So for instance, I shot a short film for Project 21. There's a scene in there where the guy's girlfriend dumps a bunch of prescription pills down a sink and then he runs out. If I were in college trying to build my demo reel, I could make a corporate video or just get someone to do an interview to make it look like a corporate video. and talk about the dangers of pill addiction or depression.
I'm out.
Put the scene from my narrative film on top of it, and voila. It looks like a very high-end corporate video. If you do not have the corporate video work to go along with it in your demo reel to kind of fool people, just get someone that's well-spoken, have them say a few sentences like they actually are doing a corporate video. Make sure they're well-lit, well-framed. Make sure you record audio properly. And in the end, even though you're faking it, you're still proving that you can light people and record their sound. So if you did the stereotypical ditzy blonde horror movie where where there's a home intruder and she has to run away from the burglars or the monster or the bad guy, and she's running down the basement instead of calling the police, and that footage looks gorgeous, let's say you just do a corporate video or get an interview with someone talking about self-defense for women or dangers and benefits of a proper home burglary alarm system. Put it underneath the B-roll of your short film. No one's the wiser. It sounds immoral, but in the end, you're still proving that you can edit. You're still proving that you can record audio for corporate videos. So no one has to know. I'm sure I'll get flamed for that, but oh well. You gotta do what you gotta do. How to and where to apply for jobs. The most obvious thing is, oh, you apply to movie studios, you apply to corporate video studios, but how many of you have thought about applying for a job at your local hospital or medical facility? Or how about your closest major sports team? None. Both of those things have video departments. Yeah, you have to get creative when you apply for a job. Not everyone realizes this, but you don't have to apply just to video companies. Non-video companies will have internal video departments. And a lot of film and video students, when they're looking for a job, do not know that, and they do not apply. And then the one person who realizes that and actually applies gets the job because they're the only person that gave a hospital or a sports team a resume or a demo reel. So make sure you get creative. Not every video studio is hiring. Sometimes non-video studios, again, will be hiring. So, every major sports team has an internal video department. Everyone. I did a job interview for the Philadelphia Eagles a while back, and they have interns. And so even if you're in college, you don't have to be intimidated because those companies will still hire for internships. So if you're doing the School of Visual Arts film program, if you like the New York Rangers or the New York Giants, give them your resume. Give them your demo reel. They may be hiring for either an internship or an actual job. And for instance, there is a local store in Philadelphia that sells motocross equipment and, motorcycles. They have an internal video department. And I saw that they were hiring recently. And they have a YouTube channel with a lot of views, and they pump out videos left and right. So it's not a video company. No film student would ever think to look for a job at a motocross retailer, but they were hiring. So everyone get creative. And once you have your job or your first internship, you don't have to wait 10 years to climb the corporate ladder, even though, patience is a virtue. But whenever you get your first internship, your first job, if a skill you have can be of use to a company and no one else is doing it, by all means, let them know about it. So a lot of video studios don't have heavy animation departments. So if you know animation and you get into an internship, or your very first job is a small video studio that does kind of, boring vanilla videos, and you can animate, by all means tell them that. You'll be the head of the animation department, so you can become a valuable team member right away. So, if you can animate, if you're into looping and can do electronic music, companies pay out the wazoo for royalty-free music. So if you can make some for them, even though you're a fresh hire or intern, you're valuable to them right away. And I'll give you a personal example of this. You know how if you shoot on 16mm film in college and people tell you film is dead, you'll never need to have your film knowledge ever again, it's all digital? I heard that back, 10, 12 years ago when I was in college. And so I got my, first job doing weddings, and they heard that I did film, and guess what? Weddings still use film. It's an add-on. Wedding companies sell 16 millimeter film packages because, they want that nostalgic look of, your parents' wedding film back in the 60s. So oddly enough, yes, people still use film, kind of. And because, I was, a film graduate, I was pretty much the only person they had access to who knew how to use film. All right, and I want to thank everyone for watching and sitting through that. I know that was a very long video, but I felt it needed to be said, a lot of those things. So hit me up with any questions or concerns you may have, or anything that I may have missed in the comments below, or PM me on YouTube or wherever. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe. More to come.